Okay, so Pocket Gamer at E3, day 2 of E3. Almost said day 3 of E3, no. Check out cool games, and you have a cool game, which you're not going to talk about, are you, Alex? You're going to talk about a cool comic instead, which is kind of interesting.
Yes, I would love to. Well, my name's Alex Seropian, and I'm the founder of Industrial Toys. We're a mobile game studio here in sunny California, in Pasadena, in fact. And we are working on a couple of things. We have a shooter for mobile called Morningstar. And we were just talking about our graphic novel that we're going to be putting out.
You're not showing anyone your shooter at the moment. You tempt me with meetings about your shooter.
I've seen it.
Me something else. Well, I'm glad you've seen it.
I played it. It's awesome.
It's not vaporware then, but
as far as you know.
But it's true. I played it. But it's you're taking a very different approach to shooters, which we'll talk about maybe when we can talk about that. But also, you're kind of coming with this interactive graphic novel to kind of like come a month before the game comes out.
Yes.
So what's the thinking behind that?
Well, you know, I think fundamentally we're really interested in trying to design for the device. We use iPads, we use iPhones. That's where we're gaming right now. And you know, the whole company was started on a premise that we just kind of want more games that sort of appeal to us and gamers like us. So we've really tried to design our experiences to use input natively, and to give players an experience that sort of makes sense for the way they're using these devices. That's how we're designing our shooter. So controls are really important to us, and sort of the play loop. How long is a play session? Story is also really important to us, and so we tried to figure out how can we tell a story that's deep, that's got really cool characters, a great setting, and gives you a sense that you're in this big universe that's believable, incredible, and cool, and futuristic, and all that great stuff, in a way that makes sense for mobile. So one of the things that we're doing is we're telling that story in more than one way. It's not just in the shooter. We're actually building a app, which is a graphic novel. It's inspired by graphic novels. It's a little bit more, in our opinion. You can explore scenes. There are choices that you can make when you're talking to characters. There are things that you can find when you're reading the story, and all that stuff folds into your experience in the universe because it goes up into the cloud. We save it on our servers, and when you go into our universe, say in the shooter, it knows what you've done, so anything you might collect while reading the book you can use in the game. Characters that you meet while reading the book will be aware of that interaction while you're playing the game, and special things will happen. Things that you encounter in the game, you might be able to go read more about when you go back to the book. So it's a nice way to tell a deep story, give a sense that you're in a big universe, and to create a little bit of a kind of an ecosystem, but not in kind of an overbearing way that's really in your face. It makes more sense for mobile.
There have been some people have kind of tried this in the past. It's ended up like a fairly clunky. You unlock this thing in the companion app, and then this other thing gun unlocks in the game. So I mean, how are you trying to get around that kind of clunkiness?
Well, so you know, a couple of things that made me think that we were at a point where we can do this really nice and seamlessly. It's just where the technology is right now. So you know, these devices are always connected, and it's a great thing about iPads and iPhones. You don't have to think about going online; they're always online. And the way the connectivity works is it's very seamless. Stuff happens behind the scenes, and when you get an experience, you're reading through the book and you collect something. You don't have to go and sort of manually activate something. It's just sort of like magically happens for you. And we sort of set it up in a way where you can kind of have your cake and eat it too. So if you go through the experience and you uncover certain things and you want to go see what maybe you missed, you can go back and do that stuff as well. So you can kind of get all the experience if you want. The other thing that we got excited about is that it's not just us that thought it was a cool idea. We sort of reached out to folks that we have a lot of respect for, that we might want to collaborate on this. So we have, John Scalzi is writing the story behind the book and the game. He's writing all the prose, and that sort of kind of ups the level of it for everyone involved. So it's certainly for us. Mike Choi's doing all the artwork. Serge Tonkian's doing the music. So it's not just an idea that we thought was cool, but we've got some really fantastic folks working on it, so the end result looks pretty sweet too.
But equally, you're kind of still a kind of fairly small startup, so you kind of have one big project you want to do, which is a game, and then you have now another fairly big project. Which
it's nuts.
So too much ambition, or is that the way it is these days?
Well, you know, I think in this space, you know, in making games, it's really all about doing something interesting, doing something new. Because there's so much out there. There's so much choice for people, which is great. Yeah. But if you're just gonna do what everybody else has done, it's how much is that? How exciting is that? You know, so we're gonna think big, try to really pull it off. If we don't, well, shit. but things are looking pretty good, so we're very excited about it.
Excellent. Thanks for your time.
Sure thing.